Thanksgiving dinner, my grandmother asked me, what the heck is this Bitcoin stuff anyway, right? And I said to her, do you remember when Visa cards first came out? You were used to paying with cash or with a check, and then a Visa came out. It was this weird payment system that you didn't understand. And she said, yeah, I remember that. I said, well, Bitcoin is just the next evolution of another payment system.
Brace yourself, Nakamoto was the foundation.
What up guys, Nakamoto Crypto here. PlanB says that Bitcoin is entering an enormous bull year next year and outlines the price target of BTC, stating that it could reach as high as $300,000. Stay tuned, like and subscribe. Let's get to 400 subscribers. The institutional quantitative investor and the creator of the stock-to-flow model, PlanB, says that Bitcoin's unique scarcity is setting up the leading cryptocurrency to surge in 2021. In a new interview with Salt Talks, PlanB advertises a bullish 2021 ride for the leading cryptocurrency. The experienced Dutch analyst hypothesizes that BTC's value can skyrocket to $300,000 before the end of 2021, stating that if you take a look at the trajectory of Bitcoin in terms of what we had in the last 10 years, where it could go for the levels of gold and real estate, then I expect Bitcoin to do another 10 to 20x from here. It will go well above $100,000, maybe even $300,000 before Christmas of next year. And that sounds really bullish. That sounds maybe even ridiculous to some people, but we have done that 3 times before already, and it is a very asymmetric return. Years of nothing, then some big crashes, then a big boom, and that I think will happen next year. PlanB's bullish evaluation is in part due to Bitcoin's scarce nature, citing Bitcoin's fixed supply and the halving events that decreases the amount of BTC being mined each year, stating that it was 25 Bitcoin when it first started back in January of 2009 when Satoshi mined the first block with 50 Bitcoins every 10 minutes. So we are now at 6.25, and that will halve for the next 100 years. So yeah, supply will be taken out. If you want Bitcoin, you will have to convince somebody else to give it up or to sell it to you. And of course, that does something with the price. But fundamentally, from a first principle point of view, scarce assets are worth more than the abundant assets. Bitcoin is the first absolute scarce asset. You cannot alter the supply. You cannot change the supply even when its price rises. You cannot increase the supply because it's mathematically in the protocol, and that is very unique. PlanB also says that he is a Bitcoin maximalist, revealing that he believes Bitcoin is poised to win in a winner-take-all game, stating that I think it's a winner-takes-all game, as a lot of the confusion there comes from the fact that some people see Bitcoin and other coins as a product or companies. You can have multiple products, and some products will win and other products will lose, or you can have multiple companies that coexist together, which is a very logical view. But Bitcoin, in my view, is not a company, it's a protocol. And of course, you can only have one protocol, especially a money protocol. In my eyes, it doesn't make sense to have in 2020 and beyond multiple currencies like we have today, where it's much more efficient to have just one monetary protocol, which is Bitcoin. So in this sense, I am what they call a maximalist, but I don't like the term. Though he thinks that Bitcoin is ready to go parabolic next year, like with any great technological innovation in history, PlanB says that BTC is vulnerable to government and regulatory interference, stating that the biggest risk that people see is a government ban or regulation. Governments have been against Bitcoin openly, but also have tried and killed the predecessors of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was not the first digital currency. It was the 4th, fifth and even the sixth digital currency that was ever created. What happened was all the other ones that was created before Bitcoin was shut down by governments because it was not peer-to-peer, or simply the inventor of those digital assets was not anonymous. So they just shut them down. As an example, look at what they did to Facebook's Libra. So in a way, Bitcoin was specially designed for this risk. However, PlanB ultimately believes that regulations are bound to ease up and become more reasonable towards technologies that are changing lives like Bitcoin, stating that right when the cars were invented, there was this rule that if you had a car, you also had to employ a person that worked in front of the car with a red flag, because otherwise there would be a danger towards the pedestrians and the cyclists. So every new technology brings its own suit or stupid regulations. But in the end, those regulations will improve and become more and more reasonable. On the same note, Bitcoin's adoption by institutional investors has just begun. This is according to JP Morgan. JP Morgan estimates that billions of dollars will be transferred from gold to Bitcoin. MicroStrategy's $650 million purchase of Bitcoin has not yet impacted the market. The institutional adoption of Bitcoin is growing faster and faster. Although the number one cryptocurrency is moving in the range of 18,400 to the 19,500s, trying to break the resistance of its previous all-time high, every week it seems that a giant or a traditional market takes a long position into BTC. At least that's how it's been for the last 6 months since MicroStrategy, Square, and PayPal's announcements. In that sense, JP Morgan analyst Nicholas Panigrizolu admits in a new report that the institutional adoption of Bitcoin has only just begun. The analyst estimates that BTC only represents 0.18% of the investment of family offices. In contrast, gold ETFs represent 3.3%. Therefore, a change in the allocation of funds would bring billions of dollars into Bitcoin. Along these lines, researcher Tor Demester also referred to the purchase of $100 million in BTC from the insurance giant MassMutual. According to him, this announcement could have a similar domino effect to that of the MicroStrategy $600 million purchase, as the Mester states that back of napkin, if the entire life insurance sector were to allocate just 0.1% of its assets into Bitcoin at the current prices, they would be in the market to buy 251,400 BTC, an estimated worth of $4.5 billion, or 1.35% of the current circulating supply of Bitcoin. The JP Morgan report indicates that there are 3 main factors that have been key to the institution's shift towards Bitcoin: the currency devaluation in major economies, the C-19 pandemic, and the US elections. As the image below shows, Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust has outperformed gold during the 2020 year. Grayscale's product has had unprecedented success this year, and the company has increased its funds in cryptocurrencies to over $12.2 billion due to the strong demand from its clients. So the institution's investment into Bitcoin is not yet priced in, as they have been buying over the counter from companies like Coinbase. As reported by CNF, the company led by Marco Celia MicroStrategy has made a risky bet, putting in another $650 million worth of senior convertible notes to buy more Bitcoin. In the line with its treasury strategy, the initial offer was just $400 million, but strong institutional demand allowed MicroStrategy to issue more debt. Despite this, the price of Bitcoin has remained stagnant over the last few weeks. Via Twitter, Nick Carter wonders where there has been a significant reaction in the market. Whales don't usually announce their purchases to take advantage of the bearish trends, as Carter states that there is no way you can buy $650 million worth of BTC without this impacting the cryptocurrency market. Never before have we seen a whale publicly announce in advance that they would be taking a position in a specific size, and the market never moved or react to this. My point is that the market should logically be anticipating the impact of the forecast buy of these kinds of purchases. Not that I expect that Celia could just smash market buy on Coinbase. Carter did not come to a satisfactory conclusion about the apparent immobility of Bitcoin's price in the face of the company's purchase. Some community members have also expressed their concerns about their fear that Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, is preparing to dump on the market. But Michael Saylor has already stated that he plans to hold on to Bitcoin for years. Another gentleman that is doubling down on BTC is CNBC's Jim Cramer, as Bitcoin has seen strong adoption on Wall Street over the past recent weeks and months. It began earlier this year with Paul Tudor Jones, a billionaire investor, announcing that he thinks that the cryptocurrency will be the fastest horse in the race of the current macro environment. This has been followed by other prominent names such as Stanley Druckenmiller and Anthony Scaramucci, both of which have announced that they think that the cryptocurrency is extremely valuable as the US dollar drops. Jim Cramer is the latest Wall Street household name to have thrown his weight behind Bitcoin. The CNBC anchor and former hedge fund manager recently told the outlet that he founded the street that he is buying more Bitcoin. He thinks that the cryptocurrency makes sense as a diversifier, noting that cryptocurrency isn't a big position for me. It is still part of my balance of assets. Cramer also added that he owns gold as well, presumably referencing how both assets are seen as hedges. Cramer added that he thought that the current prices, due to historical precedents referencing how Bitcoin moves largely, are unpredictable but higher over longer periods of times. So what are your thoughts on institutional investors joining Bitcoin every single day? Let us know in the comments section below. Like the video, share, subscribe for some daily crypto content. I have been Mr. Nakamoto Crypto, and I'm out.
Bitcoin under $8,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin under $5,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin over $10,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin is over $20,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin under $8,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin under $5,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin is over $10,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin is over $20,000.
Buy it.
Best performing asset in the last 10 years. True. Look into crypto, we need volunteers. No need to tiptoe, it won't disappear. Do your research, history made it clear.